What's this crap? 27 degrees. We've only moved into the first few days of summer, the days of the Shemitah, and 27 already. I mean, God blimey, it was only a week or so back it was battling to even get to 18. And here we are. Welcome spring. Something's going on. I was about to drive off somewhere and Here we go. Tabby Cat's just in there. It's Black Kitty, it's Tabby Cat. You got something, baby? Hey? Yes, we have. It's right there. There's a tiny little... Oh shit, I hope it is actually a rabbit. Yeah, it's a rabbit. Get him, bud. Get him. God blimey, that's small. You gonna deal with him, bud? Well, I'm holding it, it's all a bit different for him. Shit, that's tiny. Where do you get these from? Anyway, I'll have to get your mobile squeaky toy here and make it so you can actually eat it. Alrighty, I am liking this warm weather. Spring has sprung, and yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, someone mentioned something about the cardboard house after I had a go at Troy, and it's just turned into an infomercialville, you know, over there. Like, if it's not Coleman, now it's a bloody juicer. What is it, the Juice Ninja? I see that on flipping late night TV here, you know. It's just turned into infomercialville lately. Quite a lot. I didn't read the comment they put about the cardboard house. I tend not to get to the comments. I'm trying to lately get to the comments, but a lot of the times I always say I'll get on with the comments and I don't even flame and look at them, you know. I'll look at a few and then some come in a few days after I post a video and I've never even seen them. But somebody did mention the cardboard house. I would say this took a little bit more effort than going down to Walmart or wherever and getting a $10 Chinese-made plastic bag to have a shower in. There's quite a bit of thought and engineering went into all this. This is not a cardboard box that a refrigerator come in, covered in duct tape to waterproof it, with a hole cut out the side and a bit of cellophane over that hole, and that's your window. Mine actually has a Real Perspex window. You know, what I'm trying to say is I put in a decent amount of effort into this thing, but its days will be coming to a close pretty soon, and it stinks like shit of mould in here because all this is starting to go mouldy. Now I'll fold down the table. Not surprisingly, it's sort of kept better than the rest of it because it's standing upright. That's where the water tank used to be. That's where the exhaust fan was. It took me a bit to get that out actually. That's sitting on the kitchen. That's sitting on the kitchen table. I had a stove running here at one point. The cement sheet is heat shielding. That's 2 cardboard stools and another 2 cardboard stools made by a cardboard furniture manufacturer. You think about this. This is actually insulated. Watch this. Silver paper. Now that's warped, doesn't matter, I'm going to burn it anyway. So there's your original outside cardboard one. And there's your dual flute cardboard. You notice something interesting? The ones on the outside are bigger and don't line up with the ones on the inner side. Somebody once said to me about, oh, you can't just say it's insulated. Well, there it is. It's actually insulated. Half of that is sticking to the glue. It took a bit to work out how to waterproof all this with something that is resistant to 100 degrees Celsius and can also be painted over. Interesting little experimental project, but when it dries out and it will be time for it to depart, I'll probably rip out the perspex before it goes. I bet you she'll go with a lot of black smoke too due to this waterproof coating. It's not tar and it's not silicon, because I don't think you can paint over tar. And I think no more gaps you can paint over, but it's got to be done a certain way. That's about it. Like kitty's playing around. What you doing, bud? Be careful in there, bud. Oh, trash and everything. That's filled up with rainwater, that. Somebody asked about the car LPG system. I should give you guys a bit of a detailed talk on propane systems and sort of even explain some of the changes and stuff over time, because I understand quite a bit about them. So I'm not an absolute rocket science expert, but to be honest, I've tuned them and I know about all the little bits and pieces and some of the oddities that the average Joe, even over here, doesn't understand about them. So I should do a talk on them. I will do a talk on the Bible and Christian stuff, because somebody else seems to be pretty good at getting a lot of targeted articles that have probably been found with a Google search that deliberately go for a particular slant. That apparently we're all extremist nut jobs. And there are some out there, you know, Westboro Baptist, they're fucking crazy and primarily consist of only members of one family, pretty much. I think there's one or two others in there. They are fucking crazy. And a few of the things in the Bible, because this person come out with stuff that honestly I have never even heard of, and a lot of it just sounds like urban legend and rumours and that sort of shit. So it is interesting. I'll tell you what, they definitely hate poofters in the Bible, that's for sure. It says about 5 times in there at least that you won't make it to heaven if you're a poofter. And even if you are a gluttonous eater of meat. There's a lot of stuff in there a lot of people don't know, even though most hotels have Bibles in them, thanks to the Gideon's movement. And there's mention of dinosaurs in there, definitely mentions dinosaurs. And I'll read that bit out. It's a lot of different stuff. You can sort of find stuff easy because they have, my father's got one that's like made of 2 books, and I've got one that's a single book that I didn't even know I had until I was going through my bookshelf cleaning the house out, that if you want to find a particular word where it's said in the Bible, you can remember a verse, but there's one word you can remember from that verse. They've got this thing that's like a dictionary in the way that it sort of alphabetically has every word, and you go to it and then it'll tell you, say you want to look up brass, it says it with a dinosaur, bones like brass, and stirs up the sea like a boiling cauldron. So you can say, well, I know it's brass. So you look in this thing and it says brass, and it tells you everywhere where it repeats the word brass in the Bible. And yeah, I got one of those, so I can pick out a few crazy things. There's one part that's believed to talk about aliens, but my grandfather interpreted it much more logically. Lights moving at high speed through the night, which he reckons is like proof of talking about the existence of cars. And I think that's a bit more logical than necessarily saying it's talking about UFOs flying past at night. But yeah, I'll do a talk on that at some point. It's pretty crazy, some of the shit in the Bible, and especially what's most craziest is the fact that they're so easily available, but even Christians don't know some of these things that are written in there. Cats have been getting more things on a regular basis, more rabbits. Shit, it's like 2 or 3 a week. I was doing the washing the other day. I washed all my sheets and all that. You know, I thought, well, getting into warmer weather, I could dry them out now. I used to go to a certain laundromat and use their dryer to speed things up, and I managed to dry the whole lot of them here without a problem, because it's warming up a bit. While I was doing the washing, I'm mucking around in one of these box thorn bushes, and then 10 minutes later I look over and they got half a rabbit they're eating. And yeah, that electric blanket thing, turns out there's sponge in it, and it's some sort of padding, but it's not breathable, and when you lay on it you just about start sweating. So I ended up pulling that out and putting it away. So I sort of I'll probably use it next winter, but I didn't really use it much this time. I moved you'll see a video of that anyway, I moved the solar panel, 40-watt solar panel mounted on the end of the veranda, basically is closed in with weatherboards, and I put it onto that, and gave it a little extension. You'll see the video on all that anyway. I gave them two a bath, and that was Black Kitty. And Tabby Cat, I had a weird improvised opportunity, I don't know what you'd call it, and opportunity for improvisation, and I managed to wash her without getting scratched at all, which has led me to ideas to be able to make something that will allow me to wash the cats without getting scratched at all in future. It worked flaming well, even though it was a ridiculous improvisation that just happened by chance. But I'm going to expand on said idea. Oh yes, my boss should be back in about 10 weeks' time. He went for the scan thing I was saying about. He's got another 8 weeks of chemotherapy and then 2 weeks to try and build up his immune system again, and he should be back in basically 10 weeks. Oh, I am happy for him. I was shitting myself when you got a guy who's the same age as you, gets cancer, and then you start to think, fuck, that could have been me. You know, and you just think, this is fucking serious. Like, and you're worried for the bloke because he's got something that may be terminal, you know, it could friggin' kill him. And yeah, so it'd be good if he can Well, it's good that the scan's come through as it has, and that he seems to be getting a bit better. Hope, I think it's one of these things you'll have to keep a watch on it for years to come, that it doesn't come back. But yeah, that was a relief to hear that. Heard that a couple of days ago. We were actually in the shed and the other boss got a call and it was him, and then she told us about it all. Me and the big boss are on a bit of a different wavelength, and we get on all right, but just sometimes I'll say things to her and she just doesn't quite get what I'm getting at. And I noticed it used to happen quite a bit when I was talking on the phone. I thought maybe it's just being on the phone, because I've noticed some people have got really bad phones and you can't they never quite hear you, but it's happened in person too. We're just on a different wavelength, but I was on the same wavelength as the boss who got cancer, so it'd be good to have him back because, if one boss doesn't understand it, well, I can explain it to the other one, and he's thinking along the same lines I am, which is good to have someone like that as your boss to work with because, you sort of, you don't get confused when you're talking with each other. Anyway, what's the other thing? Yes, I'm sort of considering you might have watched that possible future business move video. Video. There's another particular thing which happens with propane vehicles. It happened on mine, it's happened on my mum's. Sometimes it's timing. With mine, it was the spark plugs were absolutely fucking screwed. And I didn't realise, I never even thought to change the spark plugs on it. And the spark plugs, probably, I don't even know when the other owner changed them, but it had been years since he changed them and they were just stuffed. And of course, with me, I had a backfire, but really it's a front fire. It goes bang through the inlet manifold, and there's a particular plastic part it's a cover for the air filter that keeps getting destroyed. These are very, very hard to come by. And you can go to wreckers and you can go to one wrecker after the other. You can go to several wreckers in a row and you just will not get one. Because people keep cracking them. And yeah. And also the clips that hold them, it's like high tensile wire. And when it goes bang, it'll literally just snap the flipping clips. But one thing for certain, they have worked out that one. They can use an Oki strap, and that'll fix that without a problem. But still, there's quite a lack of covers, and I have thought that if I'm going to be a wrecker, maybe as a bit of a side thing, doing 3D printing of these exact parts might be a good idea, because they are so bloody hard to come by, and yet I can take the one off, my vehicle or measurements, design it all, match it up with my vehicle, because they use the same one for years and years. But like, as I said, you go to wreckers and I needed some more clips. The only one, he said go looking, but I don't think there's any. I found a car that was smashed in on the air filter side. The air filter itself was shattered, but somehow amongst all that, I plucked out all the broken plastic, and somehow down in the bottom of the air filter were the clips. As it had crunched, it had gone and shoved some of the clips down below. Nobody had looked down there. It was the only way I got some clips one time, and but yeah, they've worked out a way using an Oki strap onto the air conditioning line to fix that problem. But still, the covers are rare as hen's teeth, and people are busting to get them. And that would be a good move to 3D print those. There's even a bottom part of it as well. My mum blew one to bits and blew the shit out of it. And my father had to use 3 bits of sheet metal to try and hold the bloody thing together as a temporary measure until they manage to order one through. This is, they're really hard to get, and so, there's no aftermarket supplier of them. So why not become the aftermarket supplier of a part that I know is extremely hard to get, and yet I can print out one at a time out of a 3D printer? It's a pretty logical move, and yeah, I may do that possibly. We'll see how it all goes. I've got to see how it all pans out and whatnot. Yeah. Don't think a great deal's happened. I don't want to go out in the wind because it'll just blow in the microphone, but there's some of the box sawn I've been bringing up to the top. I've got more that I've got to bring up in a minute. Yeah, it has been raining on and off, so I haven't burnt any more box sawn, but I probably will soon, because it's starting to dry off with the warm weather again. It'll rain, and then a few days later it'll rain again, and in the meantime my leg was stuffed and all that, and shoulder blade wasn't great, and so I never sort of got around to it all. Plus, even if I could, it was too wet. So, yeah, anyway, I think that's about all there is. Might get a little whippersnapper in a couple of days' time. We'll see how that goes. Little cordless one. Don't like the idea of having stinging nettle all over the front lawn. The sheep are eating it in other areas, but not on the front lawn. Yeah.